Welcome to the Overrated Experience Sports and Sports Betting Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Blondin. This is the NHL Conference Finals betting preview. We are now through 2 rounds of NHL action, NHL Stanley Cup action, and we're here with the Final 4, and we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about the teams that are gone, the 4 that left, the 4 that remain in this series that we're about to see, and what some opportunities from the betting perspective there's going to be here. Welcome back to the Overrated Experience is brought to you by our X or Twitter. Which one to use? I don't know. But so X, get on there. Overrated EXPER2. That's Overrated EXPER2. Start following the podcast online. We'd like to hear from you. So any Leaf fans out there? Any Leaf fans feeling the pain this morning? We'll get into that. So last night for the city of Toronto, another disappointment, another failure, another shot at the core 4 or maybe core 5, depending if you want to put Morgan Riley into that scenario or in that group. Leafs don't do it again. They fail. I'm going to touch upon that a little more after I walk through the previous other series that finished off as well. We're left with Florida, Carolina on the Eastern Conference side, Edmonton, Dallas. And what a playoff it's been so far. A lot of good action. Looking at our remaining odds to win the Stanley Cup. Looking at FanDuel, Bet365, or DraftKings. Edmonton on FanDuel is up there with Florida at plus 240, while Dallas is plus 280, plus 300 for Carolina. Carolina's taking a back seat. Wow. Florida has really pushed the odds for Carolina really at the start of the playoffs was up there as one of the favorites, the favorite on some sports books. Bet365 looks to have the Edmonton Oilers as their favorite at plus 230 with the Florida Panthers at plus 240, plus 275 for the Dallas Stars, and Carolina again at the back of the line at plus 330. And DraftKings actually has the Florida Panthers at plus 230, so that's the favorite on DK. And 265 plus 265 for the Edmonton Oilers, plus 290 for the Dallas Stars, and Carolina plus 320. So for you bettors out there, you obviously want to keep a range of sports books, because if you said Carolina is the pick you want to make sure you do that on Bet365. If you have those 3 options, gives you the best bet at 330, triple your money plus a little bit. If you want it the Edmonton Oilers, you're going to jump on DraftKings because they got plus 265 to win the Stanley Cup compared to the other 2 books. You want a Florida, you want to stay on either Bet365 or FanDuel, plus 240. You're not going to get as good of odds. And DK, DraftKings, for the Dallas Stars, your best odds are with DraftKings at plus 290. So really shop around. Depending on your pick, you want to make sure you got the right sports book to maximize your profit. Every penny counts. Don't forget that. Now, looking at how things have developed up to this point, and looking at the scoreboard, who's the playoff leaders, who's up there for Conn Smythe, we'll look at that. So right now, Mikko Rantanen leads the NHL, 19 points. Wow. If you're Carolina, you'd really like Mikko Rantanen right now to go against the Florida Panthers. If you were the Colorado Avalanche, you really want a Mikko Rantanen losing to Mikko Rantanen and the Dallas Stars in round 1. And if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs, you really wanted Mitch Marner to say, yes, I will accept a trade to the Carolina Hurricanes so that you can take on Mikko Rantanen. So a lot of teams are with some sort of regrets not being able to put Mikko Rantanen out there. Dallas Stars aren't. They paid the price. They got the guy they wanted, and he's got 19 points so far, 2 rounds in. Connor McDavid, no surprise, tied with Kyle Connor, who's out of the Winnipeg Jets for 17 points behind Mikko Rantanen. Leon Draisaitl, 16 points, is in the 4th slot. 15 for William Nylander, gone. Mitch Marner, gone. Evan Bouchard around and with 12 points. So got a lot of stuff going on here. We're only halfway through. Mikko Rantanen also leads in goals. He's got 9. And Andrei Shevchenkov for the Carolina Hurricanes, sneakily. I don't know if that's a word, sneakily, but he has 8 goals. So watch out for him. Sam Bennett has, Nathan McKinnon has 7. He's done. I'm going to have to go back. Is that right? He got 7 goals against the Dallas Stars. That's nuts, huh? Sam Bennett was 6. Throughout the first 2 rounds, and Draisaitl 5. Scheifele with a big goal against the Dallas Stars. His father passes hours earlier in that game 6, and he comes out with the first goal in the game despite the loss. What heart, what an effort by Mark Scheifele, and what a story there. Sad, but what a way to come through during that game. And then Conn Smythe. We got the Conn Smythe look at here. So we have, out of the 3 sports books, you have Connor McDavid plus 380 on FanDuel, plus 360 and plus on 365 and plus 350 on DK. So he's the man that leads the charge right now, followed by Mikko Rantanen, Freddie Anderson. Freddie Anderson, I cannot see this happening. Goaltender for the Carolina Hurricanes. Freddie Anderson plus 550 on FanDuel. Plus 580, I think, 560 on 365. I wrote that down correctly. Plus 450. They really got a lot of faith in Freddie Anderson. Watch out for Freddie Anderson. He tends to get injured. And, I wouldn't put a lot of dollars or Freddie Anderson to carry the Carolina Hurricanes to the Stanley Cup. Not one bit. But Sergei Bobrovsky, plus 750 on FanDuel, plus 800 on Bet365. And plus 900 on DK to win the Conn Smythe. Sergei Bobrovsky is a game changer. You could even see in that game 7 against the Leafs, the few chances that the Leafs did have were point blank chances that he coolly and collectively shut down, eliminated, and really sent the Leafs packing. So Sergei Bobrovsky is not getting the respect I think he should. Draisaitl's in there. Got Jake Ottinger might be a value play if you think the Dallas Stars are going to make a run. He's standing out. There's no question. Against the Winnipeg Jets, Jake Ottinger was that difference maker that the Stars needed to get to that conference final. And he's sitting at a plus 1,100 on FanDuel, plus 1,400 and 1,400 also on both Bet365 and DK. So if you like Jake Ottinger, the Dallas Stars goaltender, you want to stick with Bet365 or DraftKings to take that futures bet. So that's kind of how things are looking when it comes to the NHL. What's interesting, when you look at the goals against average in the playoffs, Freddie Anderson leads 1.36, which is possibly one of the reasons why he's one of the Conn Smythe favorites with that statistic, the goals against the average, which might play into a decision, but he's only halfway there. And the Carolina Hurricanes are a boring team. I'm sorry to say, man, but they are boring as hell. Anthony Stolarz was second. He was out first game against the Panthers, the Leaf goaltender. Bobrovsky, 2.31 goals against average. Logan Thompson for the Caps, out 2.41 goals against average. And Jake Ottinger, 2.47 goals against average. Pretty good. What team did you not hear in that readout? That's right. It was the Edmonton Oilers. The Edmonton Oilers, with both Calvin Pickett and Stuart Skinner, are the team that kind of went back and forth. Really unstable, solid enough goaltending to get by the Vegas Golden Knights, but really, I just it's an eye opener. What's it mean going into the conference final? Well, the way the Edmonton Oilers played, I don't know if it will, but against the Dallas Stars, I think it's, it has to be, right? They have to light them up, and maybe this is the time where the Oilers got to play run and gun hockey because they don't got the goalkeeping that the other teams do. So we'll see what happens there. So we're going to just do a quick review of the teams that are not in the Final Four, kicking it off with, let's say, from least panic to most panic. When I say panic, I mean really, oh my God, we got a problem here with our core group. So if you look at who got eliminated, excuse me, from least, I think the Winnipeg Jets are the least. I mean, the Dallas Stars are a Stanley Cup contender. There's no question about it. They limped in. Ellers was kind of banged up. Scheifele was banged up. Couldn't play in one of those games on the road. The Jets lost. Father passed away in Game 7. I mean, was he A, healthy, and B, was he? I know he scored the goal, but was he still at a top level? I don't know. I just don't know. Hellebuck, question mark again. The Jets did sign him to a long-term contract, so he's not going anywhere, but he didn't really blow anybody away with his goalkeeping. Really struggled early in that first series against the St. Louis Blues, but was okay. Made some big saves, but was nothing special. And they do need, for the Jets to make a run, they do need their star goaltender to be special. And he wasn't special, but he wasn't dead, god-awful. So I wouldn't be panicking there. The Jets seem to have a solid run organization. Kevin Cheveldayoff knows how to find value. He'll do it again, and I think they'll be fine. And they have a chance of making a run again next year. Vegas Golden Knights, I don't know what they're a team that's expecting since day one when they stepped on the ice in the NHL not too long ago and made the final in their first year of existence. Their expectations are to continuously make cup runs. So they kind of whimpered out against the Edmonton Oilers, which I was very shocked about. They didn't really test, in my opinion, the Edmonton Oilers goalkeeping situation. The Oilers out-depth them. I mean, you got Leon Draisaitl and McDavid, which I thought if they were going to win the series had to carry them on their back, but they got goals from a lot of places. The Edmonton Oilers did. They were just better than Vegas in most aspects of the game. What does Vegas do? I got to bet they're going to do something. I think they'll make at least one big significant offseason move. What that is, I don't know. But they're probably going to max out the increase in the cap some way, somehow to make a move to be in a position where they're in the conference final or final next year. That is their expectation. So I don't think they're panicking, but I don't think they'll sit on their hands either. The Washington Capitals, again, I don't know if they're major panicking. I mean, they got good seasons out of Dylan Strome, great goaltending, Logan Thompson. Ovi got his, record-breaking goal to go ahead of Gretzky there. What does he have left in the tank? I don't know, man. He scored 40-plus goals, so it's hard to kind of push him to the side, and, get rid of old Yeller there. But he's still got something, but I don't know, man. Now that the record's been achieved, does he walk away? I don't think so, but, he's got a cup. I don't know if this team's ready to compete for the cup next year. And how long does Ovi have left? Carolina, walked all over them pretty much and shut them down. They just don't got the depth of what it takes to beat a team like Carolina. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ovi maybe walks away. But, he's a goal scorer, 100% pure goal scorer, one of the, the best that we've seen at goal scoring. But, he's 40, was he 40 plus or whatever it is? And you can tell he's slow on the ice. So I don't know, Washington, you got a decision to make. And maybe Ovi, maybe it's time. You got the record. And maybe it's time to kind of move on. Move on, Ovi. So now we get to the elephant in the room here. And there's a blue-white elephant called the Toronto Maple Leafs. And for 9 seasons, we in this city have held out hope that the Leafs 9 years ago or 10 years ago, you might have heard the phrase scorched earth, broke this team down, started from the bottom, depend on low draft picks. We got lucky first overall pick to pick up Austin Matthews on top of a 4th overall pick in Mitch Marner, on top of already having William Nylander. And then, the core was born, right? The core was born. John Tavares gets added on a few years later, the Toronto-born kid, back in his hometown, thought to be the icing on the cake, but really, 2 playoff series wins in 9 years. 2 series playoff wins in 9 years. Man, there is such a gap here between the teams that got eliminated in this second round to major overhauls required. And the Leafs are that team, right? Depends on what they want. If they want a solid division contending regular season, yeah, keep the same team together. Go out and blow your brains out and sign Mitch Marner to $14 million a year. He's not taking a hometown discount. but you're nuts if you do. Mitch Marner, if you noticed last night, he touched the puck. Every time he touched the puck in that third period, he was being booed. Mitch Marner is like milk right now. He is expired, right? There's chunks. It's past the good date of, to drink that milk. His time is over. His time is over. And I get the concept here and the idea that you don't know what's on the other side if you start taking these pieces away, and we don't. But we know what is here. And that is a limitation of results. It's a limitation of where the Leafs are going to go and how they're going to, go from here. If they keep the same team together, we're just going to get the same results. So look, they had their opportunity. They had a big Game 6 win against the Florida Panthers. They obviously had an opportunity to come home, had home ice advantage, and absolutely got dominated by a better team, outclassed by a better team, better players, better pickups at the trade deadline, better management, better everything, better goaltending. But if your stars don't produce results, the results are going to be, not what you want. And that is another elimination, jerseys being thrown on the ice. So Leaf Nation has spoken. If you are the Toronto Maple Leafs, you will let Mitch Marner walk as a free agent. You know what? 31 other teams I heard on X today, we're going to line up and pick him up or, really have a bidding war. So be it. It's not working here. It's a 32nd team that we've been down this road, and it ain't working. And when the fans start booing out of hatred, it's time to cut ties. Say thanks for your service and move on. It ain't working. Austin Matthews isn't going anywhere unless he's demanding a trade out of Toronto. So the reality is he's there. I mean, the question is, though, what is Austin Matthews? What is his ceiling? I mean, he's a great regular season goal scorer, but he can hardly be found in the playoffs, right? He's not even close to dominating, let's say, the LA Kings on a 3-game Eastern road trip, or into San Jose or Chicago. But when it comes up against the Boston Bruins or the Florida Panthers or somebody that, high level, he is a fraud. He is just gone. He disappears. A little fraudulent. So Austin Matthews, he'll be here, but man, he's going to lose face. He's the next guy on the list. He's the next guy on the list that the fans will get all over when things go sour again next year. I hope I'm wrong. So the Leafs need some significant moves. What those are, we're gonna find out. I mean, Aaron Ekblad, my understanding, is a free agent, Florida Panthers defenseman, and maybe he's the guy that we need to add that winning culture, impactful defenseman. You've seen him kind of terrorize the Leafs in this round, this series as well. If he's available, he's a guy I'd be looking to go after. And I wouldn't be too upset if the Leafs decide to part ways and move Morgan Riley as well. I just don't think he is an elite level defenseman. And you kind of need a number one pairing defenseman, a horse. And look at that Florida Panthers lineup. You got Seth Jones and Aaron Ekblad in there on that blue line. Just spectacular. So outclassed, and it's over. Core 4, done, over. And it was over. And I've been saying it for a long time. It's been way too long. Too much faith to run it back year over year. And that's on Brendan Shanahan, president of hockey operations. Time for him to go. It's go time, Brendan. Sorry, you got to hand in that resignation tomorrow, but we'll see. So that's the state of the world, state of the Leafs, state of the blue and white, as seen from a Torontonian. Not happy about it, but that's reality. And to be honest, did I have real faith that they were going to win that Game 7? Did I want them to? Yes. Did I have faith? Nah. It wasn't really, it's kind of, I have to see it to believe it. And I've seen what I've always seen for 9 years. And that's not anything good. So speaking of winners, because I'm not talking about winners when I talk about the Leafs right now, I'm talking about winners moving on one step away from getting to the Stanley Cup final. The Eastern Conference Series is the Florida Panthers and the Carolina Hurricanes. Are these the best two teams in the Eastern Conference? I mean, obviously they're here at the end. Are they the best two teams? Yeah, I'm going to say they are. It's Carolina, kind of that team. It's always been on the bubble of underachieving. And from underachieving to getting to where they expect to be. Yeah. Now, what's going to happen in this series? I can't see Florida, from what I've seen and how they've conducted themselves over the last 3 seasons, this being the third, that they're going to allow a Carolina Hurricane team that is a solid club, has depth all around, but they don't have a killer. They don't have a killer. The Carolina Hurricanes went out earlier this year, made a big trade with the Colorado Avalanche to pick up Mikko Rantanen. And Mikko Rantanen is exactly the type of player that they need in this particular series, a killer. The Dallas Stars know what they got, but they picked up Mikko Rantanen without having a contract in place, which makes 0 sense, and then having to dump him at the trade deadline because they felt they could not re-sign him. Weird decision, too, as well, is that you got the player that you feel that you want is going to be the guy pushing over the edge. And you got a team right now, it's not going to be great forever. And you decided because you didn't take your chances on this team this year to get the job done. So I think that's going to be the missing factor here in this series. I think Florida gets the job done. I think it goes 6. And if you look at the betting lines, the Florida Panthers are the favorite. FanDuel has them at minus 125. 365 has them on minus 130. And again, DK minus 125, while the Carolina Hurricanes are pluses, plus 110 on Bet365. So if you'd like the Canes in this series, that is the betting site to pick it on if you're using these 3 sites. And if I go through each of the 3 sites that I'm just using as my examples, I'll give you my best bets. And here they go. FanDuel, the series, minus 125. Florida takes it. Not big money, but solid. If you feel comfortable, I feel very comfortable that the Florida Panthers will do this. And also, the Florida Panthers win this in, max 6 games, which will give you the winning by minus 1.5 at plus 162. So 4 games to 2 or 4 games to 1. I think Florida takes it. I think value bet is that the series goes 6 games exactly at plus 195. Now, here's a running theme you'll find as I go through each of the betting sites, and that is the total goals in this series by an individual player or 2. And here we have Brad Marchand. 3 goals in this series is plus 450. Plus 450. Okay? And why not, guys? Well, what am I missing here? He scored 3 goals against the Leafs. He's been very impactful. He'll score empty net goals. He'll be out there, in a tight game near the end. He makes things happen. So there's real value putting some hope that plus 3 goals, plus 450 on FanDuel for Brad Marchand. Carolina, Shevchenkov, 3 goals, plus 220. Well, he's got 8 goals in the playoffs. So, if there's got a guy for Carolina that's going to score, it's going to be him. And have 3 goals in the series, very possible. And I think it's very good value there. So that wraps up FanDuel with one exception, one thing to consider. Now, you could also bet on the Stanley Cup matchup, so the various different matchups on FanDuel. Now, I didn't write this down because I don't know why I didn't write this down, but just throwing it out here. I'm going to give you a good pick, and I think it's valuable. Do you feel confident that Florida is going to win this series like I do? If you do, then what I'm going to say to you is if you pick the matchup of Florida Edmonton or Florida Dallas, each of those matchups is plus 200. I'm going to find the right balance here. Where is it? Of course, when I want to find it, won't find it. Son of a beep. So I would be very... Let's go. Hold on. Let's play off specials. Hypothetical Stanley Cup Finals. So All right, so Stanley Cup Final here, Edmonton, Florida. It's not doing what I thought it was. Never mind. I thought it was the matchup, but it's not giving me that. All right, anyway, I thought it was going to be a Edmonton matchup. There is that bet. I just can't find it. So the Edmonton Florida matchup is plus 200 and change, and the Dallas and Florida matchup is 200 and change just for the matchup alone. So I think that what we'll see is. I'm rambling on because I'm trying to find this bet. But I would take two bets of $100 each on those plus 200 scenarios because I'm that confident that Florida's going to win this series and that it won't matter if it's Edmonton or Dallas in the final. So I like it, and that's how I see it playing out. Florida will be there. Now, going down to Bet365 in this series, the Carolina-Florida Panthers series. So back to Brad Marchand. He is a plus 120 to score 2 goals in the series. I like him at 3. Give me 2 goals, a plus 120. Good value there. And back to DK. If you don't have Bet365, but you do have DraftKings, Brad Marchand to get 2 goals or more is plus 120. Good value there. Same as Bet365. Series total plus 200, which is actually better than FanDuel. So I'm talking about the series going 6 games exactly. OT prop. I'm contemplating this. Will any of these games in this series go to double overtime at plus 400? If there's a series out of these two that's going to go double overtime, if not triple, it's going to be this one. So that's maybe a good value, plus 400 there. Series total over 31.5 goals. Wow, minus 120. If you like that kind of series watching goals, I fear that there's going to be a 1-0, 2-0 game here. Or, will they average, if they go 6 games and they have 5 goals a game, but maybe one of those games they have, a kind of a 5-4 barn burner, that will get us over the 31.5. So something to consider, minus 120, 31.5 goals over in the series. That's pretty much it for the Florida-Carolina scenario here. Dallas and Edmonton. Very impressed with the way Edmonton's been playing. Very impressed in how it's not just McDavid, not just Draisaitl. The Zach Hymans, the Evander Kanes, the Corey Perrys have stepped up really in a big time situation. They've had their injury woes. A lot of just guys coming through when they needed it. The most big goals being scored. So absolutely tremendous hockey being played by the Edmonton Oilers. Can they keep it up? Man, I was back and forth in this series. The Dallas Stars, I think, are destined to kind of make that Stanley Cup run. But I flipped back to the Edmonton Oilers. I'm going to, right now, if you look at the Oilers on FanDuel, they're minus 118 to win the series, minus 120 on Bet365, and minus 110 on DK. DraftKings actually has Dallas and Edmonton even at both at minus 110. But you can find Dallas at a plus on Bet365, minus 102 on FanDuel. So depending on the site is depending on who thinks who's going to win and who's got the better odds of winning. So maybe do your shopping like I keep putting it out there. Again, reminder, you can follow the Overrated Experience on X at Overrated EXPER2. That's Overrated EXPER2. Also on Facebook and Instagram at Overrated Experience. So, what do we got here? What do we got playing out? Well, we have one team that has a superstar goalie in Jake Ottinger, and the other team that continuously bounces back and forth. I think Stuart Skinner is the guy they're going to go with. But Calvin Pickard may see some action in this game, or this series, that if anything goes south. I think Knobloch is not afraid to go back and forth, coach of the Edmonton Oilers, if he sees fit. So don't count on Stuart Skinner starting all these games. But I do think the Edmonton Oilers win this in seven games. And here's some of the bets I like. All right. So FanDuel, Leon Draisaitl, 4 goals or more, plus 120. He's a goal-scoring machine. He didn't come through for me last series the way I thought because of the spread I was scoring, but I think that changes this series. Zach Hyman. I think he'll be in the mix. I think he'll pop in 3 goals in the series, and that's plus 200. I think there's value there. Connor McDavid, 3 goals or more. This guy can throw in, put in three pucks behind Ottinger in one period. So he's the best in the world. There's no question about it. He's a game changer every time he steps on the ice. So there's the value at a FanDuel. Bet365 also has Draisaitl plus 130 to score 4 goals, which is a better odds than we've seen in FanDuel. Mikko Rantanen, over 6.5 points in this series is minus 115. He leads the NHL playoffs, as you know, in points right now with 19. So why not? He's going to be the guy. He's going to be in the mix. So 7 points in this series, which might be a high-scoring series. I don't think is too far-fetched for that to happen. And that's it for Bet365. DraftKings, back to Draisaitl, plus 135, even better than the first 2. So if you look at the 4 goals for Leon Draisaitl, plus 135, if you're on DraftKings, you're going to take that over the other 2, but good value there. Well, what else are we going to say? It kicks off tomorrow night against, we're going to have a game, Carolina, Florida, kick it off, followed by on Wednesday, we have the Edmonton Oilers and Dallas Stars. They're going to kick it off. Who do you like? Let me know on Twitter or X at Overrated EXPER2. And I'm going to say this, the pleasure's been all been yours, and the Overrated Experience is over and out. Till next time. Bye-bye.